They would come to you with any problem and they would expect you to give them a solution because you are the legal person in the company.
An in-house professional is not supposed to be a jack of all trades, not supposed to be master of one either. It was in fact my job to finish all the income tax returns of all the family members before I joined the next college session. It might very easily reveal my age, but computers were not that common at that time.
Would it be safer to say that in-house counsels would excel into his responsibility if they love the business very much?
That is true for any business, for any profession. You have to like the company, you have to enjoy the work that the company gives, and that's what makes it fulfilling to be an in-house lawyer in that company. There have been situations where I've come home and told my mom that I'm leaving my job, and she didn't ask why. She just said, "Get another job and leave."
Wow,
That was very practical. I said, "Okay, no problem, I'll do that."
what a wonderful response. Sunita, hi, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Prayank. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, Sunita, I was doing some research about you, and you know what? I of course have collated a lot of points about you, your story, your journey so far. But to start with, I would like to hear the story from you about your childhood, your teenage days, about your college days, and what prompted you to move to in-house. If you can just share this story through couple of anecdotes which you remember by heart, which are very dear to you. I think that would be the best way to know your story until now.
Okay, then it will become a rather long story. I was born in Bombay. I did my
Mm-hmm.
schooling in Bombay and then we shifted to Bangalore. My uncle had started an industry over here and he needed my dad's help. My father was also a company secretary. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, the day we moved into Bangalore was when I started working just after school.
Okay.
So by the time I finished my college, I had very good exposure to legal concepts because I was doing
Mm-hmm.
work for my father for those 5 years. It was in
Okay.
fact my job to finish all the income tax returns of all the family members before I joined the
Mm-hmm.
next college session. So,
Okay.
the profession was sort of chosen for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started my profession as an in-house lawyer itself. I did not go to court or register with the bar. So I've been an in-house counsel forever. I actually started my studies with company secretary's course, and then
Mm-hmm.
also simultaneously I studied law. So my initial focus was to be a company secretary, and then there
Okay.
was one incident that happened with one company where they didn't want to, me to be the company secretary, but wanted me to be the legal counsel, and that sort of changed the
Mm-hmm.
trajectory of my, of my career. And I think it was the
Interesting.
right thing to do at that time also, because the legal career,
Great.
legal industry was exploding at that time, and in-house was,
Mhm.
just becoming a career option at that time actually. So it was good for me.
Mhm.
It worked out.
Lovely. So since you started your journey right with the in-house, as the first engagement itself you had was of in-house role. Uh, People had a lot of notions about in-house role. Like, was it
Hmm.
like it generally notion has been that in-house is a very easy job as compared to the law firms. Law firms, you got to slog a lot of hours. There are so many uncertainties which can come throughout the day, and you got to answer all of that. While in-house, it's a chill life. Is what the notion people generally carry. I'm sure you would have a different story to this, but how did you choose to be in house as your first career option? And why not go and practice into the law
Well, I
firms?
wanted to be a company secretary, right?
Hmm.
And that's how, as part of my training, I'd worked for a couple of companies. I already had exposure to being a practicing
Okay.
company secretary with my dad's office. But I wanted to try something different. So when I qualified, I joined a company, right? To some extent, I would say yes. The in-house role is, I think, a bit easier because you're dealing with one
Hmm.
company or a set of companies, a group of companies, rather than uh, on a normal law firm day or a corporate secretarial day, you could get work from various sectors, right, from various companies. To some extent, it is easy, but then, when you're an embedded legal counsel, you become part of the business. So you are
Mm-hmm.
involved at every stage, whether it's launch of a new business, opening of a new entity, approaching a new market, doing an acquisition. So you end up learning about that business in a more deeper fashion, right? One
Mm-hmm.
business in a very deeper fashion, rather than being in a law firm where you tackle, or you work with, or you manage work for different companies, different sectors. You don't go into the business decisions as such, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of
Right.
cases.
True. So would it be safer to say that in-house counsels, like a good in-house counsel, would excel into his responsibility if they love the business very much?
That is
Without
true.
that love, it's going to be hard to sail.
True. That is true for any business, for any profession, right? You have to like your the company. You have to enjoy the work that the company gives, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes it fulfilling to be an in-house lawyer in that company. The respect that you get, that the legal and compliance function gets, right. The legal and compliance regulatory environment gets from the stakeholders. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it just becomes an uphill task. Every night, every day you're fighting against the tide as such. So I've been lucky. I've worked with very compliant companies, which is also
Very good.
challenging in its own way, because compliant
Mm-hmm.
companies approach business very differently. They're able to grow faster. They're able to go bigger because they know that compliance has their back, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. But the compliant companies would also have their sets of challenges as well, right? How do you mitigate those challenges in your day to day?
Compliant companies have the challenges that they have to do the business ethically. They have to do it in the
Mm-hmm.
right manner, at the right time, taking into account. So the life cycle becomes a little bit longer when you're compliant with everything,
Okay.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is the challenge that compliant companies face, that they have to go through the entire process. They have to take those right steps before they can launch the business, before they can approach a new country, a new business altogether. So
Mm-hmm.
but uh, the company that I've worked with make sure that they try to identify. They say, okay, we are entering this new market. What are the
Mm-hmm.
processes that we need to follow in this country,
Okay.
in country number 2 or 3, right? It makes it easier because then we have a template that we can follow, right? For that particular business
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
different countries, the template would not be that much different, right? But if they prepare for it, then it makes the work and the launch also much easier.
Hmm. Interesting. And what happens when a business head, let's suppose, comes up and says, you know what, we want to enter into this particular business or in this market, and we have very shorter timeline.
Yeah.
We know that there are a bunch of activities which we need to follow as per the legal process or as per the compliance process, but we don't have time for it, and we have to launch. So when there is a push from the business side to move forward fast, knowing that legal is going to stop them midway,
Legal
how do
doesn't.
you handle these kind of situations? uh, when I say stop it, basically try to get compliance in, get all the checks and balances in place, and then give basically the green flag to move forward fast. But the timeline is very short. So what happens in such kind of scenarios?
Well, we face that on a regular basis, but as I said, we have business leaders who are very much aware of the
Hmm.
compliances that their businesses require, right, in various jurisdictions. So yes, the push is there to make it done it to do it in a very short time. But when we sit down and we formulate and we list down, right, step by step, what needs to be done
Hmm.
at what point of time, how much lead time is required, we make them understand that, this is necessity. Of course, if you're saying a lead
Hmm.
time for a particular step is 15 days, if you can do it in 10, of course we will do it. We'll make all our efforts. But we prepare them. If you prepare the business leader, right, then he will not have
Okay.
that much of an objection. Yes, of course,
Hmm.
every day is important. But if you launch a business in the right manner, you will not face problems at a later time. And that is something our business leaders do understand. Of course, they will push and say, we need it yesterday. Everything comes with that requirement. We need it yesterday. But then we sit with them and we tell them, these are the very logical steps that we have to follow, right? We shouldn't skip anything. What we can do is try to
Hmm.
expedite everything. So it works most of the time. Once they're educated, once they know what
Hmm.
the challenges are or what the steps are, they're very, very willing to follow it.
Has there been change of expectations, or I think that would be the right thing. Has there been change of expectations from you from the day you joined versus now?
When I joined, I mean, it might very easily reveal my age, but computers were not that common at that time. So, as part of
Mm-hmm.
my training process and my internships and all that was when I was first exposed to computers, right?
Hmm.
So, of course, it's been a sea change. I mean, we went through Y2K was the very first challenge that tech companies faced, and after that, it's been wave and wave, wave upon wave of challenges for tech companies. So things have changed dramatically. We used to do things manually earlier. I remember writing um, all the minutes of the board meetings
Okay.
manually, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, I mean, it's been a sea change, of course.
Hmm. And you enjoying this change?
Of course, of course. I mean, for a person in the tech industry, it is very exciting to see all these changes, to go through, to learn new things, almost every year there's something new to learn. I mean, just this
Hmm.
very chat, this podcast format, it's so new, right? It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, as a legal counsel, if I have to ask you that, if you were to have couple of features or tools or functionality to streamline your work, which is still not done, or basically, if you were to imagine something new today in terms of technological innovation in the legal industry, in the legal workflow, what would those uh, couple of your wishful features be?
In the legal field, really, there's not much that can change until the entire infrastructure, the not the infrastructure, the thinking around it changes. Today we
Mm-hmm.
have AI, right? But there is a
Mm-hmm.
lot of resistance to using AI as well. There are challenges to
Mm-hmm.
using AI as well, because which causes the resistance, right? Say from
Right.
lawmaking to law, to judiciary to other stuff. Even if you take up simple things like contracts, I mean, a lot of innovation has happened in contracts, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the final part of it, the actual negotiations with the counterparty, that will not change, right? And until the
Right.
counterparty changes their way of negotiations, of reviewing a contract, of drafting a contract, it's very difficult for one company, one counterparty to change unless the other party changes. I mean, things have simplified a lot. Earlier from
Mm-hmm.
going and procuring stamp papers, and I think in some of my earlier avatars, it's quite possible that the stamp paper that I got was not the proper one, right? But from
Mm-hmm.
starting from that to now, having e-stamp paper available, right,
Right.
at a click of your fingers, even something basic as that is so nice to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things have become a whole lot easier, but the legal field, I'm still seeing that there is a lot of resistance, and
Mm-hmm.
possibly change will be slow, right? As much as I
Change will
might
be
want
smooth. Mm-hmm.
some features, it's not possible for to get it all right. The negotiation,
Okay.
the discussion that we're having, for example, now,
Mm-hmm.
right? You cannot do
Right.
AI with it, right?
Correct. I mean, of course, we can train the avatars, but you will not have the feeling of having the kind of relationship which
The
you want to
connect,
explore from
yes,
there.
yes,
Yes, the connection and all that. Yes, God. So, like you're saying, human to human interaction is gonna be vital going forward, even more,
yes,
because people are just chatting with their AIs, their avatars, and they're just talking to the screens more
yes,
and more.
yes. And
So,
human
human
interactions
connection
will
is
not
gonna be
change all
key.
that much. And
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
legal and our contractual discussions that we have, whether it's M&A, whether it's a regular customer or vendor discussion, there's very little that can change. I mean, the signing process has become much easier, right? With
You're
e-signatures,
right.
soft signatures, DSCs, etc. But the couriers have stopped going all over the place, right? With the signed
Yeah.
contracts being
Yeah.
sent back and forth. But the actual negotiations still you need to be face to face or virtually.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. So, what sort of a DNA would succeed in the in-house framework?
Um, well, I think in the in-house framework you have to be a little bit more patient, right?
Okay.
Because you have to understand the business and your stakeholders more deeply. When I go to a law
Mm,
firm, right, I ask a question, I get a response, right? They don't need to understand
mm,
my
mm,
business deeply, but I need to understand the
mhm.
business deeply so that I can, mm, uh, give the proper guidance to the business stakeholders to proceed with that particular business. So you need a little bit of patience. Um, and I think you cannot be very ambitious.
Okay. Why would you say so?
Because you don't move from associate to partner in 3 years or 5 years or whatever, right?
Hmm.
So you have to
Okay.
grow stage by stage, responsibility by responsibility, project by project, company by company.
Hmm. So you're saying the growth might not be that steep,
It might not be that stages.
and because of that, you should also have more patience
Patience.
if you want to play a long game in the
Yes.
in the corporate sector. But what message would you give to the current young grads, young lawyers who are going to be passing out, who are watching this? Because if they are looking at in-house as a good viable career opportunity, you're seeing, and all of these guys are not patient, by the way.
Yes.
Gen Z's are not
Yes.
they lack patience, right? So should they choose the in-house or no?
I think, this is advice that I give to the youngsters nowadays. I tell them, you put a couple of years at least, maybe 3, 4 years
Hmm.
in the profession, a litigating
Okay.
firm or in a law firm, right? Understand that side of the business first, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
you come in house if that is what you wish. It gives you a very broad spectrum of experience, right? And
That is
once
true.
you've been on the other side, you appreciate the side much more. And this is something that has been
Hmm.
told to me by many youngsters who have
Okay.
been on both sides of the table, right? On both sides
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
this profession.
Interesting. Now, you told about the broad spectrum of things which you get to learn from the law firms usually. Uh, but when it comes to in-house, the expectation of your board, the management, and even the entire team also around you, they would come to you with any problem and they would expect you to give them a solution because you are the legal person in the company.
Yes.
How do you handle those expectations and tell them that, you know what, this matter belongs to a land dispute or a real estate issue or something else, or maybe data privacy law, and I am not their expert, or this is sort of like out of my purview, but I'll handle it. Like, how does that happen? How do you deal with this?
Yeah. So, in an in-house professional, not supposed to be a jack of all trades, right?
Hmm.
Not supposed to
Right.
be master of one either, right? But we should be able to manage the business in the manner that the business wants to be managed. If I get a real estate problem, for example, I have to do a real estate registration. I cannot go and do that
Hmm.
myself. And most of my team members may also not have that kind of expertise because that requires regular interaction and liaison with the sub registrar's office. So in those cases, we approach law firms, right? We
Hmm.
have the ability to approach the law firms and to get that land deed registered or the lease registered or the lease cancelled as well. That has also happened, right? Um, so we do approach law firms for various matters. For example, if I were to do an IP registration or trademark registration, I can't do that myself. I will have to approach a law firm. So I should be able to interact with, get the right resource, and get the job
Hmm.
done, right? At a reasonable price, of course.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. So, as general counsel, like almost everything in legal would stop at you, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, when it comes to innovation, which is partly majorly driven by the R&D teams, the tech the tech engineers, and maybe a chief of innovation officer or engineering or a technology officer. These are the guys who are responsible for it.
Yes.
But when it comes to legal protection, um, maybe your team or you would come into play. So who is ultimate responsible for driving the innovation at the tech companies like yourself?
Well, the innovation is always driven by the R&D team, by the business teams over there,
Hmm.
which want to launch that new business or a new product, right? We support them. We support them in getting them the
Hmm.
trademark registrations, the patent applications done. Again, when they don't have trademark or patent expertise, so we would approach law firms and we would get
Hmm.
those correct registrations done for the right markets, in the right time, so we are the support team there basically
Okay.
for the innovation
Hmm.
teams here.
Okay. And who drives the uh, targets and budgets for the team? For example, we want to file X number of patents. That does that come from the leadership, the management, or it's completely dependent upon how great innovations that the company is producing altogether, and then move forward them. How does that decision making happens?
For the innovations or for the registrations? Sorry.
For specifically for the patents
For the patents,
and
yeah. So
innovations?
we have,
Yes.
tied up with law firms, to have the right costings, right? Because
Hmm. Hmm.
say we do, of course, because we are India based, we do first registration in India, but then we want to deploy this particular innovation in the Africa region, right? And then we
Yeah.
have tie-ups with law firms who then get us the right quotations for individual countries, right, where the patent can be registered. So the costs are generally, what can I say? Uh, I would say they are 80% predictable. So
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
business knows, that this is the
Okay.
cost if they want to patent a particular thing, and then if they want to publish it, and then they want to file, in different countries, what is going to be the likely cost, the renewal cost, the annual renewal cost, which is quite high in most of the countries, right? So
Yeah.
we have to be careful about,
Hmm.
how big a dream we want to dream.
Interesting. Yeah. So how big that dream is, who decides that? That's what I want to know. Like,
That
who would say, you know what, this year let's go and paint this picture and move forward with that vision.
Yeah, so that is something that we have to discuss with the finance team
Hmm.
and the innovation
Okay.
team. That okay, you want to do 100 countries patenting, right? So that requires
Mm.
a whole lot of money. So talk to the finance team, and then then they get a reality check, and then they become a little bit more
Then the things change.
reasonable. Yeah, in the expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then the reality hits. Otherwise,
yeah.
everybody would start with, you know what, let's get this thing globally protected.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So we have to be,
Yeah.
considering the costs and considering the kind of
Hmm.
companies
Hmm.
that are there. Not everybody can afford that, big bang patenting approach. So we have to be
Yeah.
circumspect and we have to be careful about what our wishes are. And then it is up to us to
Mm-hmm.
guide them and advise them. You're never going to be using this in Croatia. Why do you want to go to, apply for a patent in Croatian, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had
Right.
a very interesting case where, if I may,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Where
Please go ahead. Go
in
ahead.
one
Go
of
ahead.
the African countries, uh, we got a IP infringement case, right?
Okay.
And that is
Okay.
something, it was in one of the African countries, and we had not applied for a
Hmm.
patent in that country. But of course, our
Mm.
patent had been applied for in India a couple of years before that other party
Mm.
had filed their patent
Right.
in that particular, it was a Middle Eastern country, right? So, based
Hmm.
on the fact that we had applied for our first patent in India 2 years before that, that case was won by us. So, it's not necessary that we have to go and have
Sorry.
patent applications in every country.
Right. Precisely, and that's why everybody should start protecting,
Yes, but that
if not
initial
for
step
attacking,
has
at
to
least
be
for
taken, yeah,
defending
for
yourself.
defending. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
That is most important as well.
Yes.
And how do you incentivize your tech team or engineering team to come up with ideas which can get patents?
So, our company does have a program for
Hmm.
incentivizing. So, every published patent
Okay.
does get some reward for the inventors.
inventors.
Yes.
Nice, very good. So
So they also
they have
encouraged,
something to
yes.
look up to.
They have something to look
Yeah,
up to.
because if
Yeah.
hmm, otherwise they'll just get bored
Yeah. And they're
with their day
named
to
as
day
inventors, right?
their work.
They are named as inventors.
Mhm.
So
Yes,
that of course is a big incentive for them.
correct. Okay, okay, interesting. So I was talking to like in the last 1 year, I spoke to more than 120 plus general counsels, Sunita,
Mm-hmm.
and couple of pointers which came out as a pattern is sometimes general counsel were not able to take a decision in terms of should we get the IP registrations in shorter amount of time, like faster.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
Faster.
when they want to go faster and seek the results, seek the patent approval, let's suppose in 6 to 12 months of time, they need to pay higher amount of a cost because the government fees would increase and everything would increase since you are crunching down the timelines. Versus, let it take its own course, maybe secure a patent in 3 year or 4 year or 5 year, but distribute the cost over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the two challenges. Like one company would want to let's say reduce the timeline but do not have the budget wise, versus others, they do not even know that you can reduce the timeline and move forward fast. So in which of this category would you fall into, and if given a choice, would you love to expedite everything and just get the outcomes fast? Like what's the philosophy behind your strategy?
Um, I think we have to balance the cost
Hmm.
versus the innovation. As I said, we've had experience that, once you've filed in one country, that offers quite a good amount of protection, right? And ours is a
Hmm.
continuing
Right.
business, right? So for
Hmm.
us, I think, definitely if there was a need, we would manage to get the budgets to get the patent approved in a compressed timeline.
Hmm.
But our strategy is not to waste money on, oh, sorry to use the word, on compressed timelines. We would rather that,
Hmm.
yes, we do the filing as soon as possible, and then we do the
Okay.
priority filings within the timelines, etc. And we wait for it. Then we get it published
Hmm.
immediately, and then we wait.
Okay.
And then what we
That's
also
this
do
right.
is there is an alternative, where in a couple of countries where you can get the patent issued, without any
Hmm.
scrutiny or verification. So we try for
Examination.
that,
Yeah.
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 So examination. So
Okay.
we get that done just to ensure that
Hmm.
we have the published and the issued patents.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting idea as well on this.
Mhm.
Nice. This is a different strategy. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't seen, I haven't heard from anyone trying to use that expedited route or without examination, like innovation patents getting
Yes.
issued
Yes.
because the others are getting delayed.
Yeah.
Good idea. Okay. I'm sure you have business in those countries, and that's the
Yes.
reason why you
Yes.
seek
Yes.
those
Yes.
patents as well. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Now, tell me, you spoke about merger and acquisition as part of your role as well.
Yes.
While doing the M&A or acquiring a company from the tech background, how much weight is given to patents? Specifically, I'm asking uh, from the side of the startups, because they are often told this whole
Yes.
picture by people like us that you file patents, it
It's
creates good
instead
opportunity
become
for
more valuable.
acquisition.
Yes.
It Yeah, it creates good vantage point, it creates good story altogether. So as a large organization, how much importance do you give to the patents being filed by the companies you are looking to acquire?
Definitely. As an innovative company, we are looking for registered patent and trademark applications, copyright
Hmm.
registrations in the acquisitions for the products that we want to acquire. Right. Uh,
Okay.
Having said that, it there must be a business around it, right? So if
Hmm.
a startup says, I've got this
Sure.
patent and I want to sell it and it's valued at 5 million or $100 million, that does not have
Yeah.
as much value in our eyes, I would think, uh, as compared to somewhere where, yes, I've got a patent, but here's a $20 million profitable business that comes along with it,
Mm-hmm.
that is based on this
Mm-hmm.
patent.
Okay.
So
Okay.
of course,
So
definitely,
patent alone is not carrying the only weight. It's
yes,
the business built around the technology or the which is part of the patents.
absolutely, absolutely,
Interesting. Interesting. And would the patent also help to get increased valuation?
absolutely, it would.
Hmm.
It would definitely a
Okay.
patent
It was.
does make the product more valuable.
Mhm. Nice, very good. So this is something which almost all the people who come to us and say like, "You want to do this? It's like an investment, but is it really going to help us
Yeah,
during that time, during our exits and all of that?"
right.
And we often say yes. It's good to have the validation from your side as well, since you are doing this a lot, and it's good. People who are watching this, will, of course, learn it and go for it. Don't stall your patents for whatever reason you could not do it. Do it as soon as possible.
Yeah,
That's nice.
definitely,
So
definitely.
nice, very good. So, Sunita, uh, so throughout the years, you have seen how, let's suppose, the fresh graduates or graduates with couple of years of experience, how would they perform? They do start with the research and then start helping redlining the contracts and eventually grow up the ladder in the strategy front of. Now, today we have AI tools and systems in place which is able to do the research in milliseconds, in seconds, right? Do you think uh, going forward it will be difficult for fresh graduates or associates with couple of years of experience to secure the same jobs because AI is actually going to play with, I mean, compete with them in the same domain itself? How would these people should look up to AI or look up when it comes to securing a job in the uh, legal teams itself?
Well, AI has definitely been a game changer, right? Not only for
Hmm.
legal jobs, but for various other roles, right? And mainly it will tackle roles that are of a starter, of a beginner's nature, right? What I have found though, we can use AI definitely, but as of now in the legal field, you can use it as a tool, right? Because
Hmm.
of the various issues that have come up, where there's hallucinations. So I mean, if AI is throwing up a result and a research, and that contains several citations for legal cases,
Hmm.
I think it does make sense to have somebody go through those citations and make sure that's
Hmm.
actually a real case. I mean, this is something that has been
Correct.
even cited by the high courts and the Supreme Court, saying that we are seeing case laws being referred to, cited, which are not real, right?
Yeah. Unreal.
And there is a
Correct.
little bit of bias also that AI throws up, right?
Hmm.
It depends on how you frame the question. You will most likely get an answer that suits your viewpoint. But as a lawyer, you can't
Hmm.
go by
Hmm.
viewpoint alone, right? You have to make sure that
Correct.
it's backed up by the law, right?
Hmm.
So I
Still.
think not all jobs will be lost. Definitely,
Mhm.
it will impact the market, the job market. How to
Okay.
approach it? Maybe you know. Students need to be to get some degree of specialization in one of the areas, right? Definitely, I
Okay.
don't think litigation jobs will be that impacted. Again, that depends on face to face interaction with the judge,
Hmm.
right? Face
Hmm.
to face
Yeah.
interaction with the court clerk, to for various purposes,
Move
right?
things forward. Yeah.
Talking to
Yeah.
your clients, right? Convincing them that the research or the opinion that has been thrown up by AI is proper, right? So I don't think all
Mm.
jobs will be lost, and these are challenges that have been faced since the time of the typewriter, right? Earlier there were scribes. Scribes thought they will lose their job to
Yeah. Yeah.
typewriters.
Correct.
Typewriters thought they will lose their job to computers. You know, so then
Hmm.
these challenges have come along, and I think it just increases the value of human interaction all the more. So I don't think the students should feel this uh, uncomfortable, right?
Hmm.
In fact, I'm sure they use AI in their studies, so they know the value of
Yeah.
AI, right? So they should be able to work around it.
Hmm.
I don't think the answer is very apparent now. I don't think I've given you a right answer. It's just that I think we will get over this hump as well.
Hmm.
To add
Okay.
more value
So,
to our own
hmm, hmm.
qualifications, our own learnings, and thus be able to justify
Would you
it.
hire? Understood. So, in today's time, would you hire a fresh associate to do research work for you, or would you rather get to subscription to AI tools and continue with it?
I think it will be a combination of both. Uh,
It will be a
it will be
combination.
a
Okay.
combination of both. Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
no, as I said, our work is very person dependent. The person can be helped by the tool, but we cannot let go of the person entirely only because of the tool.
Right. Right. I was watching some podcast, and in that the speaker said, the most lucrative job of the future is gonna be of plumber.
All skill based. Yeah, all skill based actually. Whether it's an electrician or a plumber or a chef or or even a pilot to some extent can be done. But can you imagine an aircraft? Unless they just remove the food part of it altogether, without the air crew,
Yeah.
right? You do need
It'll
the
all be
crew. You
chaos.
do, yeah, it will be chaos. So it
Yeah.
will not replace all jobs. Skill based jobs definitely are more secure.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh,
Hmm.
but there are some jobs which do need to be upgraded anyways, right? And that is
Hmm.
what AI
Of
will tackle
course.
at first. I
Yeah.
think in the legal field, it's still a little bit behind as compared to,
Hmm.
say, the coding job, right? The coding job is just suddenly
Yeah.
disappeared,
Yeah.
right? But the
Correct.
legal job is still not that insecure, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. If I were to ask you, what's your non-negotiable
Hmm.
in work or in personal life, what would that
I'd say integrity,
be? Hmm.
right? Um, for me, it's very difficult to deal with a person who says, I'm not well um, and I'm taking the day off, right? And
Okay.
then they go out partying. That is a little difficult, right? So, I mean, that's a very small
Right.
example that I'm giving you. Uh, I would rather
Hmm.
just tell me upfront, I need the day off. I mean, be Gen
Yeah.
Z, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Correct. No, I get it. And if you were to, let's suppose, restart your career
Mhm,
today,
mhm.
what would that profession be? You can't choose law.
Profession.
Yeah, anything which you want to start new, for example, today, in today's day and age with all this technology and everything, if you want to restart your career, you can't choose law. What would that other career would be
I think I would go into share
and why?
trading.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a good profession to be in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a little bit of risk in that. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, that is something I think that would be interesting. It was a good profession when I started my career, but
Mm-hmm.
everything was manual. It was not all organized. Today, the state of
Mm-hmm.
affairs is such that it's extremely organized, right? From placing a trade to closing a
Right.
trade to transferring the funds to getting the scripts in your demat account. I think it's very good. So I think that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would choose that. And it's something you can do
Interesting.
sitting out of the home or
Oh,
anywhere
yeah.
or anywhere.
Anywhere, anywhere for
Anywhere.
that matter. Yes. 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 Excellent. Nice. And would you trust AI for your trades as well?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Interesting. Yes, I was reading a lot of pieces of article about the use of AI to make money and all of that.
Mhm.
Like there have been very fun memes around that I started with a Claude and I asked Claude to make $500 or 5,000 and within 5 days it made zero.
Yes.
And
That
there have been
that
a lot
is
of
a big
posts
risk.
about
Yes.
making the money as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. No, no, that's a
Yeah,
risk.
it's
That's a
fun.
risk that you have to take. And definitely law
Hmm.
is a better profession than share trading if you don't want to take that many risks.
Hmm. Nice. How do you keep yourself sane, Sunita? I'm like this
Hmm.
such calmness and everything. How do you bring that to yourself when there are hundreds of people asking for your time every single day in the office?
Um, No, there are not 100 people asking for my time every day. It
Okay.
is definitely easier than a law firm role.
Hmm.
There are not 100 people, and no, there are situations where I am not so calm. But you know what? My mantra has always been: leave the work at the office and then come home. That got violated a bit
Okay.
during COVID time because work did come home, but I don't take my
Mm-hmm.
stress back home, and that is something that I advise everybody. Your work is your work. Leave your work and at your workplace, and then come back home with a
Hmm.
full mind and dedicate your time or spend your time with your family and friends. So I don't. I try not to mix the work and the play.
it's easy to say
It's very easy to
don't
say.
do that,
Yes.
or
Yes.
keep things out there in the office itself, but how do you actually do it? Like people don't know how to.
They
Everybody
don't do
knows
it.
that,
Yes.
okay, this is what is to do it, but how to implement that? How did you implement it? Like implemented this, that you are not carrying your work in home,
Right. No, so I don't talk about
because
my
mentally you are still there, right?
no,
Mentally
no,
you would still be
no,
there.
no.
Okay,
I'm able to walk
so
away.
how do you switch off?
I switch off. In my
How do you
drive,
how do you
in my
switch off?
drive to the house, which can take between half an hour to two
Okay.
hours, anything, right? That is when you switch off. That
Mm-hmm.
just say that no, I will not discuss my work. I don't discuss my work with my family, right? Or what's happening on a
Okay.
day-to-day basis. I know people do that, and then they stress out the family as well. Oh, AI is
Mm-hmm.
coming, redundancies are
Yeah,
happening,
yeah.
this, that. So don't stress out your family with that, because you know best how to handle that in the office, in the workspace environment, with your office colleagues, right? So don't bring that home. That is always, and that is something I tell my team members as well, that, leave your work over here. I mean, definitely there are times when you have to work overnight and you have to work long hours, come back home and work.
Right.
All that is fine. But then you don't have to
Mm.
burden your family members with the problems that you're facing in the office. Everyone's grown up enough. Just tackle that in the office and be done with it. I mean, even
Mm.
uh, there have been situations where I've just come home and told my mom that I'm leaving my job, right? And she didn't ask why. She just said, "Get another job and leave."
Ah,
That
wow.
was very practical,
What a
I said,
wonderful
"Okay, no
response.
problem. I'll do that."
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. There was one time when I got laid off, and
Mm-hmm.
I just came
Mm-hmm.
home, and my mom said, "That's okay. You can take the time off. You need the time off, right?" So I always try to separate the two. I don't
Yeah.
bring back and discuss office problems, office issues at home.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
You have to manage it on your own.
Nice. So this has been like a conscious decision which we have
Yes.
taken over the years and been able to maintain it
Yes.
consistently.
Actually, that started when I was working in my dad's office. There was so much confidential stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I was dealing with, that there was no
Yeah.
question of coming home and discussing, anything about work, about business, because that was also
Mm-hmm.
linked to the family business, right? So I was,
Okay.
I was 15, and I was told that you have to maintain confidentiality, right? What you hear and what you learn
Wow.
about the business at home, you do not take at the office. You do not take it home, right? Because that is for the
Interesting.
elders to discuss, not for me to
Mm-hmm.
discuss, right? So it's just been that way, right? So
Very
when
good.
I was in the office, I used to be in the office. When I was at home, I was a 15-year-old, right?
Impressive. Impressive. I think, yeah, this is something which everybody needs
I
to
think it's
inculcate.
very
Even I need
important.
to inculcate, because it's like you're on the devices these days, right from Slack to emails to whatnot.
Yes.
Everywhere you can see either your team or your clients messaging something, and I'll just go and reply to them.
Yeah. So what I do, I try,
Uh,
unless somebody messages
mhm,
me, I tell them, if there's something important, message me on WhatsApp. I do look at
mhm.
WhatsApp, but I'm not going to my into my Outlook all the time.
Okay.
You want a
Okay.
document signed at 12 midnight? That's fine. I can do it. Just message me or give me a call. But until that message comes, I'm not waiting for it. I'm,
Mm,
so everyone, I think, should have that one place, either you're stepping out of the office, you're driving out of the garage, you're reaching home, where you click a button and you say, I've switched off and I'm switched on over here. It sounds
nice. This
theoretical,
is
but I've
profound.
used it
Yes.
practically, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I take all the practical advices and tips, because this is going to be helpful, uh, of course, for others as well, but it definitely is going to help me as well, because it happens. And yes, I have taken conscious efforts to limit that, remove the apps, certain apps from my phone and all of that. But mentally, I'm often there.
Yeah,
Mentally,
yeah,
I'm still thinking about, oh man, how am I going to crack that deal? Was that counsel going to reply? Oh, I have to still do a podcast with that person. I'm building my own mental models at the back, but yes, it needs to be off sometimes
yeah.
as well.
So there has to
Yes.
also be a place in your
Mm.
home where you think about work. Like I'm sitting at my desk in the
Hmm.
house, which was set up
Okay.
many
Okay.
years ago, but which I only used since the COVID time, right? So when I'm sitting over
Hmm.
here, then I switch off from what's 3 feet away,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And when I'm over there, then I've switched off this part of
Mm.
it already. And you can
Nice.
try.
Very good. Yes, definitely. Yep. Yep. I also have my home study,
Yes.
which which increases my productivity.
It does.
Definitely.
It does. But doesn't have to be
Yes.
in fact, doesn't have to become all of your productivity.
Hmm. Right. Nice. This has been wonderful. So Sunita, if you were to uh give a message to younger Sunita, 15-year-old Sunita who was working with your dad, what message would that be, considering how far you have reached so far?
I think I would be one of the few people you might speak to who will say, doesn't want to do anything differently.
Okay.
I'm lucky enough to have enjoyed my career and my
Mhm.
life. So I have no advice to give. I can just say that, just live, be in the moment, live your life, and then it won't feel like a burden at all.
Awesome, awesome. This has been very profound, Sunita. I'm very lucky to have chatted with you, and I've learned so much from you. And I'm sure people who are watching us would also be able to take away a lot of wisdom, which you have shared here onto the platform. And I'm extremely grateful to your time, to you. Thank you so much for coming onto the show and sharing great wisdom with all of us.
Thanks so much, Prayank, for having me. As I mentioned to you, I'm not the most comfortable in front of the camera, but you've made it super simple and easy. So thank you very much for making this a very easygoing chat. I'm not too conscious, I think.
You have been amazing. You have been amazing, Sunita.
Sure,
You
thank
can
you.
you can check those in the recording as well. Yes.
Sure, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.